11 o'clock, or it's close to 11 o'clock. So I have Libby here, and I thought today would be a good day to talk about doing some just basic maintenance grooming. Let me preface this by saying I am not a professional groomer. I am not even close to being a professional groomer, but I groom my own dogs, and I know that a lot of people are not able to take their dogs to their groomer during this time, and I've heard a lot of people saying that they're nervous, their dogs are getting really shaggy, and it can become unhealthy for a dog that needs regular grooming if it's not kept up on. So I thought today we would take just a couple minutes and talk about some basics that you can do to help keep your dog healthy until they're able to go to the vet. Until the groomer. So probably the most important thing that you should be doing with a dog that needs regular grooming is keeping them clean and mat free. So whether it's just running a comb or a brush over them for a couple minutes each day, or at least a few times a week, I think that's probably the most important thing that you can do. So when your grooming salon does open up, you're able to hand over a dog that is mat free. Mats can be extremely painful for dogs because they twist the fur up, and it can pull on the skin, and it's really troublesome and unhealthy. So number one is keeping your dogs clean and mat free. The next thing that you can do at home, even just with your regular scissors, you don't need to have anything special. You don't need to have a grooming table. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to be able to keep all of this fur out of their eyes so they can see. So you can see that Libby's fur is getting kind of long, although for Portuguese we do normally let it get a little bit longer. That's their shade. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of demonstrate how to clean up their face a little bit so your dog can see what they're doing. No, you're going to stay. I'm going to use a couple different shears, but like I said, at home, if you just have a nice pair of kitchen scissors, that's going to work out great. So you want to make sure they don't have any mats. You're going to pull all of this fur forward. And we're going to work on two different areas. We're going to work on this fur, but we're also going to work on her muzzle fur. Because if you look at your dog, the fur that's coming up over their eyes is not really going to impair their vision as much as this fur here that's growing up from their muzzle. This is going to block their vision a lot. We'll get to that fur in a moment. So this fur that's going over their eyes, I'm just going to brush it forward, and then I'm going to take my shears and I'm going to cut kind of in an upside down V. And what I'm going to do with my dogs with my shears is I'm never going to cut up like this. I'm always going to cut down for a couple different reasons. First of all, with the hair that lays like this, if you cut up, you're going to have really noticeable cut lines. It's going to look like your dog was just chopped, chop, chop, chop. But if you cut down, it's going to blend in more with the fur. The other reason is you don't want to be cutting up like this, especially if you have a fidgety dog, because that could be quite dangerous. So we're always going to cut down. So with her, I'm going to cut down, and you can kind of see the line that's already been made. So I'm just going to cut down and follow this line. And then from this side, I got to switch positions. And this side, again the V. And you're not going to want to go chop, chop. You kind of keep your scissors still as you're going. And that way it just kind of lays right along with the fur, and you're able to see your lines a little bit better. So that's kind of starting to, sorry, I'm going to go back and forth in front of you guys. That's kind of starting to clean her up just a little bit. It kind of brings the fur up a little bit so she can see where she's going, so she can catch that ball when you throw it to her. There. So that's good. So now she can see a little bit. And obviously her hair is getting pretty long. I'm going to clean this up a little bit later too. And do just a little bit more over here. Part of the reason why you want to do this V is because if you don't, you're going to give your dog just a bowl cut, and that's going to look pretty silly. All right, so we can see her eyes a little bit. So this part here, this muzzle fur that grows up, you're going to take your scissors and again, kind of right at the crease of her eye, you can open your eye there, right along here where they get their eye boogers, you're going to do a V again. And you're just going to cut all that down. Still aiming down, don't aim up. These are just thinning shears. These are just cheapo thinning shears. I think I got these at PetSmart actually. If your dog's muzzle is really long, you can trim it down like this with your shears. And if you get brave, you could even, I'm just gonna hold her right down here so she can't move her head around too much. If you get brave, you can even start to shape a little bit around the muzzle if you want. If your dog's muzzle is getting really long. I don't think at this point your groomer would mind too much. It's hair, it's gonna grow back. There, we can see her pretty eyes now. What do you think? Good girl. So that's a good way to just kind of clean up their face a little bit so they can see what they're doing. Then the other thing that I wanted to talk about today is nail trims. Her nails are really long right now, and so it's perfect timing to show you how to trim toenails. The whole idea with trimming toenails is doing a little bit often versus doing a huge chunk once a month or so. The quick is that little vein that's in the nail, and if you do just a little bit every few days, you'll help that quick to recede. It'll go back, and you'll be less likely to hit the quick when you trim their nails. So I'm going to go on the other side because I'm really weird about trimming nails. I can only do it from one side of the dog. Come here. Sit. Good girl. So you're going to take their paw and you're going to just move the fur back, and look at her feet are all muddy. Can you see on this toenail where it comes out and then it kind of curves down? Right at that part where it curves down, that's where you're going to trim. Oh, I know, she does not like it. So here again, oh, these are long. Good girl. So since her nails are quite long, I'm going to probably tomorrow go back and just shave a little bit off each. And just shave a little bit off each so that quick can start receding back. It's really tough to see on these black nails. You kind of have to guess where the quick is. If I could guess on this one, I would guess the quick is probably right about there because that's that arch where it starts to go forward. So I'm going to stay clear away from that, but I think on this one I can go just a teeny bit more. Just shaving it off. The other idea of just shaving it off is if you do hit that quick, it's pretty painful and it bleeds a lot. So you want to try your best to stay away. So just doing a little bit at a time is going to be much, much better than trying to cut off a huge chunk. Okay, one more thing that I want to do today with Libby is talk about the fur underneath the feet, because that to me is one that you're going to want to keep clean. The fur under their pads can get matted just like the regular parts of their body. So if you have a clippers, you can take that clippers and just kind of shave out a little bit of area under their pads. But if you don't, you can just use your scissors. Do you want to come around here? So hers right now is pretty good, but you can just use your shears and just really gently, being really careful not to clip the pad. Just get that cleaned up underneath so it doesn't get matted up. Good girl. There. So, I think those 3 areas are going to be good to help keep your dog up to speed so they can see, so they're not matted, so they can walk properly and their toenails aren't too long. Hopefully that'll help get you through. I've also seen a couple other really awesome grooming videos that I'm going to try to share to this page. So if you're at home and you feel like practicing on your dog, those are going to be really good references too. So good luck, and I will talk to you guys later. Thanks.